like I said, it was a little bit emotional. Like, I don't know how to expect. I know people like me a lot here in New York, and like I said, I don't know when I get there for a stretch before the game. I see people calling my name. That was a good feeling. That's people still like me, and they know that this is the first time that I get in this kind of trouble. To all those years that I play here in New York, I never got in trouble. I was just a happy kid who loves to play the game and who loves to enjoy the game and helping my ball club to win. But like I say, we're human beings. We make a mistake, and I feel like I need a second chance.
Welcome to Cyclones Insider, everyone. For Stu Johnson, I'm Johnny Canada. After a very, very busy and hectic weekend here in Coney Island, the arrival of former, now current Met Jose Reyes, fan favorite. It was quite the atmosphere yesterday. Sellout crowd, the fans were into it. Jose Reyes yesterday went 0 for 3, reached base once on a fielder's choice, had a couple putouts in the field. Stu, what'd you see from his performance yesterday?
Well, I thought Jose looked pretty comfortable playing third base, and that was one of the big questions, was how would he adapt to the hot corner, because he hadn't played there since he was 17 years old in the minor leagues. And he looked pretty comfortable. He worked with Edgardo Alfonso before the game. Fonzie was hitting him ground balls, giving him some pointers, and he got a couple of pop-ups, handled those without any issue, fielded one ground ball on a short hop, made a nice throw. Arm strength still looks to be there, so the question will be how are his reactions there, and if yesterday was any indication, he looks to be on his way to playing a comfortable third base.
Yeah, as I said, he went 0 for 3, reached base once, but let's keep in mind, he hasn't played baseball for, 6 months now? I mean, he had time to, after all the off-the-field issues, I'm sure he had time to go to the gym. He looked good. He looked in shape, which was a good sign. And as you said, his throwing arm has always been a strength of his. He's a Gold Glove winner, Silver Slugger winner, batting champion, All-Star. Everyone knows what Reyes can bring to the table. And I think it's a great time. I think it's a great move by the Mets. No disrespect to Curtis Granderson. I think Reyes is the leadoff hitter you need for a contender. He could steal you a bunch of bases, get on base, be a threat on the bases, which I think is something the Mets need.
Yeah, well, Reyes led the league in steals for 3 straight years when he was with the Mets in 2005 through 2007. He's obviously made that a huge part of his game, 479 career steals. And the Mets don't have a lot of stolen base threats in the order this year. I think David Wright still leads the team with steals, and he has 3. So Reyes can provide some thump at the top of the order and maybe allow the team to manufacture some runs, and that's something they haven't been able to do this year. They're hoping he can provide that in 2016.
And during Reyes' presser, he was very animated, but not, in the classic Jose Reyes fashion. He seemed very overwhelmed yesterday. I don't blame him. He seemed, very stressed out and overwhelmed. But, I think it's just a matter of time until he gets back into the swing of things. He's back home in New York. He's always wanted to play in New York, I feel. He even said yesterday he wasn't very happy in Colorado. Which happens. I mean, it wasn't under the best circumstances. He's been traded from Miami to Toronto and then to Colorado, and now he's back with the Mets. I really think he can thrive under the big spotlight, which we've seen from 2005 to 2011. He just always has a great time on the field, and it's a really exciting time, like I said, for New Yorkers.
Yeah, well, he was emotional yesterday, and that wasn't a really big surprise because Jose has made his home here in New York and in Long Island since he joined the Mets, and he was always beloved here. And I thought it was pretty cool when the crowd organically broke out into that Jose, Jose, Jose chant when he first came up, and he was maybe the central attraction at Shea Stadium and then at Citi Field for many years, and he had a very close relationship with the fans. And it wasn't always that the fans loved Reyes, but also it was that Reyes fed off the fans' energy.
Definitely.
And I think when he spoke yesterday, you got a sense of how emotional he was about that. And I think the fans here were wearing Reyes stuff. So if the reaction yesterday was any indication, Mets fans are excited about having him back, even with some of the controversy and some of the mistakes that he's made in the last few years.
And you mentioned the fans love him. I really thought it was a nice gesture on Reyes' part during his press conference yesterday. He made sure to thank the Wilpons and Sandy Alderson multiple times. So I think it was a great gesture for him to do that as well.
Sandy Alderson said in his conference call a couple of days ago that it was the fact that he knew Reyes in 2011 as a player and as a person that really informed his decision to bring him back after speaking with him before signing him, seeing that he was contrite, believing that he was ready to make amends. And Reyes had a close relationship with Alderson during that 1 year he was the general manager, and he had his best season in 2011 when he won the batting title. And he obviously has a very close relationship with everybody in the Mets from ownership on down. So this is a reunion that Sandy said was appropriate, that he would have that second chance in the city that made him such a talented player and such a superstar. And hopefully for both sides it works out.
I don't know about you, Stu. I could talk about Jose Reyes all day. I'm sure you could talk about Jose Reyes all day and how exciting it is to be a Met fan. And within the Met organization, it's a great time for them. But like I did say, it was a very busy weekend here in Coney Island. Mets first-round draft pick Justin Dunn out of Boston College was here.
Oh, it's huge. I mean, my parents would be here. It's a 30-minute trip. You just hop on the belt and take it right down. But I'm excited. I grew up watching the Mets and going to Citi Field, so to be able to play down here in Brooklyn and have the opportunity to go play in Citi Field is huge. I'm just excited to get into the rotation and do what I've been doing, kind of fill up the zone and show all 4 pitches. And I've learned a lot over my time at Boston College on how to pitch and analyze hitters, so that's definitely something that I feel like I can bring to the table.
So there you have it, Justin Dunn, first-round pick out of Boston College, fireball arm, right-handed pitcher, reliever. Stu, what can we expect out of Justin going forward?
Well, it's going to be exciting to watch him because he brings a lot of velocity to the table. He threw in the mid-90s during his time at BC, and as he said in his press conference, he was able to sustain that velocity when he converted from being a reliever into a starter during his junior year. So the Mets are hoping that he's a guy who can produce a lot of strikeouts, get a lot of swings and misses. And then the other part of it that's pretty cool is that he's a New York guy.
Yeah, definitely.
And, the Mets had Steven Matz, and he was a big part of the team last year.
Anthony Kay.
Anthony Kay will be joining him as well, and Anthony Kay also from Long Island, and you heard Justin talk about getting to know him as an opponent during his high school days. Now they'll be on the same side. So it's nice to have that New York flavor with the Mets and here in Brooklyn as well. And I know that Justin's excited about staying home, so to speak, as he begins his pro career.
And understandably so, Justin mentioned that he's going to be on an innings limit and pitch count limit going forward. Obviously, you see all the time, especially nowadays in the majors, it's unbelievable how many of these young guys are getting Tommy John. So I'm sure the Mets want to be really, really cautious with him, especially with the arm he has. He's going to be a very valuable asset going forward.
Yeah, and that goes back a number of years under Sandy Alderson and Paul DePodesta in the front office, and now Ian Levin and J.P. Ricciardi. All those guys have put an emphasis on protecting minor league arms, and especially guys who have come out of a college season where they've thrown a lot of innings and often stressful innings. You want to make sure that their transition into pro ball is an easy one. So Dunn will probably make, as he said, 10 appearances or so, a couple innings apiece, and we'll see how he handles it, but there will be a lot of excitement and a lot of eyes on Justin Dunn, first-round pick right here in Brooklyn.
Get a chance to catch Justin Dunn the next homestand. So, come out to the ballpark here at MCU Park. It's going to be beautiful. It's going to be, as we said, great time for Justin Dunn and the Mets. But unfortunately, that's all the time we have, Cyclones fans. For Stu Johnson, I'm Johnny Canetta. We'll see you next week here on Cyclones Insider.